So hey there and welcome back to We Don't Do Boring, Andy's podcast. My podcast is all about experience, time, money, compromise, balance, but most of all communication. So today's talk is just about success. I'm overdue in saying well done to somebody, and somebody else I've just met has had great success very quickly. So, and this is in the Sandcastle world. We're talking about things that make you happy, going to the beach, and the business people are going, oh, he's always talking about the beach. Well, these two ladies do something very different. And the first one is overdue to say thank you because she's a friend of mine now. I met her quite a while ago, and she told me about building at night. And I said, you build at night? Why? How can you see? She said, well, I build outside under a canopy in a sandbox, and I have to, okay. She said, sometimes I can build, sometimes I can't. Sometimes the insects are too bad. And I'm like, what? So, number one, she's carving under the lights, which is extremely difficult because you've got shadows everywhere and dark sides and light sides. And anyway, I got to be friends with her. She asked me about technique. She bought some tools. She was thrilled to get new tools because they, and follow the videos. So she's using my experience, and we communicated all the time. And a lovely lady. And she's actually got a job that is not the envy of most people. She is a hospice nurse. That's why she has time at night. When she's on call, she's not actually physically on call unless she has to go to a client, and they're all mapped and everything else. So she has hours where she's doing reports and everything else, and time waiting, if she's on call, because she's on call. But she's not on call like a nurse in a hospital that just has to run down the ward. She's got a huge territory, so she has to drive everywhere. So, and to see how she balances that life and sleeps in the daytime and then comes out and balances what she's got to do. Obviously work comes first, and then that against what she built, because I met her by going up there. I went to see what she was doing because I was fascinated in this carving at night thing, and I thought, well, how do you do that? It's going to be shite, you won't be able to see, and we talked about lighting, and her husband was fantastic. He got more lights for her, but it was hard sometimes because there's always a glare, it's not like daylight, So, but it was fascinating to see what she was doing. And I took her some buckets because she can't get them up there. So I bought the entire set and took them up there for her just so I could go and see their place and do all this. And she's in this box. She's got a sandbox, a 10 by 10, underneath like a temporary parking garage structure, which they have. And then the box has got legs on it and it goes all the way to the top. And then she puts insect netting on it. And seals it up because the bugs are quite bad where she is, which is sounds like an ordeal, doesn't it? I mean, it is an ordeal, but she wants to do it, so she's spending time and money and designing things to get the joy out of what she wants to do. And then when I got there, she managed to find two huge, Hawaiian backdrops, like big, huge 10 by 10 things, and she hung them on the wall. So she was literally sitting in the sand in Hawaii with the palm trees, and it's just fantastic what she did. It was just made me laugh, and it was wonderful. But she's used experience to help her enjoy herself more. She spends her own time and money. She doesn't compromise with work, and it's always a balance. So that's how she works. Now, on the other side, so well done. Yes, Rowan, it's about you. And I'm just thrilled that you're so successful, and you've obviously been a great friend since I met you, so there you go. So the other lady, I had a shout out on YouTube, which by a bizarre coincidence I wouldn't have even found, because I didn't know this lady, and I didn't know her site or anything else. She's quite she hasn't got that much on YouTube. She's a teacher. And she was fed up of the bureaucracy in schools, so she's sort of trying to get away from just following rules and not being able to teach children, so she does pop-up classes. She runs a thing called Young Aviator. Anyway, she gave me a shout out and just said, there's this guy in Texas who builds amazing sandcastles. I just wish I could, I really want to be as good as that. But I just don't think our beach is right. So I contacted her and said, I'm Andy Hancock. I'm the guy. Thanks for the shout out, because it's just being polite to say thank you. I'm the guy. How can I help you? There must be a way I can help you. And she said, well, the beach, I'm not sure. And anyway, she showed me the picture of the beach. And while she was standing there on one of the things, the part of the castle fell down. And I thought, wow, that sand looks awful. And it wasn't awful, it was just grainy. But also, we got to talking about grit and shells. And she said, oh, there's a lot of that. And I said, well, the best thing to do is make a screen. And she said, well, how do I do that? And I told her, sent her a picture of one I have. And she went, right. And within, a day, this screen is on the top of the bucket. She said, like this. And she makes all her own stuff because she does a lot of crafts. She's a teacher. She teaches all sorts of things, physics, but she teaches aviation as well, like young aviators. So I thought, wow, this girl can do anything. So this is great, and we started talking, and then she asked me about more things. So then I said, well, isn't there a beach closer than an hour away or whatever? You have to keep going. Well, there's one down the road, but I think the sand won't work there. And she went there and tried it, and it was a bit of a rabid failure. The thing wouldn't stand up. So we got to discussing how she was doing things, and I said, are you vibrating the bucket? Because when you vibrate sand and water inside a container, it causes compaction and granulation. And that makes your sandcastle very strong because it expels all the air and locks the sand together. And one picture, I said, well, is there any clay in it? Because it looks very orange. And she said, I don't know what's in this stuff. The city bring it in and put it on the beach. I said, okay. Or the town. So I said, right, well, when you tap the bucket, she said, tap the bucket. I said, yes, you have to hit it with both hands at the same time, one either side, and clout it like it's that person you don't like at work. And joking. So you clout it, and then you wait for the water to rise, and the sand will settle, and the water will appear to rise, but the water's the same volume. It's just that the sand is settling and locking into position. She sent me a picture and said, is this what you're talking about on the top of the sand? And it looks like there was a scum, like a shiny scum left by the water, and that's clay. That's how you tell there's clay in the sand. So then she proceeded on that day to put up a 4-foot sandcastle. She's never built anything like that in her life. And so I said, wow, fantastic. What a job. Well done. I said, you're going to be a superstar. She said, well, I haven't told you the rest of it yet. Somebody came off the deck, which is a little drinking deck, a bar and stuff, and said he was a local reporter. Do you mind if I take your picture and put an article in the paper about you? And she posted she posted Sandcastle demonstrations were going to be at this little bar because she's going to do it again to make sure it all works again. And another lady from another city in Long Island called her and said, I have been trying to find somebody for Sandcastle to do Sandcastle demonstrations and lessons forever. Could you please, tell me how much it costs and do that stuff. And so she's been on this whirlwind journey, whereas Rowan's been on it for 15 years. The Joy Learning Factory, it's called, which is fantastic. Joy Learning Factory. You have to look it up. The link will be below. And she's been on it for 15 minutes. And already things are going skywards, which is great. But she actually has to compromise the sand side. She has to have a full-time job because she's got to pay her bills. Sandcastling's not going to do it because it's a very short season over there. It doesn't get very warm up in Long Island. So you're looking from May to September max, absolutely maxed out. So it's a short season, but, I don't know. Who knows what she's going to do next. But I'm very pleased for their success. And it's just a big shout-out to say they've got two completely different lives. But yet they've used persistence. They've been persistent in following experience to get to where they want to be. One wants to learn how to do this and get better and get it better and get better and learn how to do bigger things and teach. And the other one wants to get better just for the pure joy of doing it. And they both achieved it. So well done, ladies. Big shout out. Big up to you. I mean, that's why I do my job. I do my job to hear success stories, but they're all linked by hard work and persistence will give you success. It doesn't matter which order, the communication, the balance, the compromise, the time and the money come in. If you're persistent, you will always achieve success. And you will jumble the other 6 things, right, however you need to achieve it. So there you go. So creation begins with destruction, as I always say. And we don't do boring. That's because we're always out at the beach being successful. Right, so I hope this has helped. And I just wanted to share a feel-good story. It makes me very happy. It makes my job worthwhile. Please subscribe, pass the video on, share it with your friends. I'm just thrilled. I'm thrilled that I can help people. And so I pass it on. All right? Well, it's been great to talk today, but I'll see you on the next one on my same spot on the little blue and green dot. Bye!